All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I'm trying to keep my voice down because it is 2 a.m. and my family is trying to sleep. But anyways, I wanted to talk on something real quick because it's funny how lately I would say that I have gained an interest in debating content, and it's funny how I didn't really realize it, like how interesting it is to see two people debate. But I've been seeing a lot of different videos on TikTok. I had just recently reacted to, I haven't finished it yet. By the time when this podcast episode comes out, I probably will be finished with it. But no, I was watching Dean Withers debate 20 MAGA women, and it's the funniest thing ever. Like, so far from what I've seen, I'm like 40 minutes into the video. It's pretty funny because you see the lack of education on, the MAGA women and stuff. You see the lack of education coming from them. They're trying to defend Trump and his actions, but they're not trying to bring anything to the table. They're just expecting you to take their word for it. And that's the thing. It's okay, I guess, if you're talking to somebody that is also a Trump supporter. But if you're talking to somebody that's not a Trump supporter, do you honestly think, and they don't have no plans on supporting Trump, do you honestly think they're going to take your word and whatever it is that you're talking about, they're going to listen to you, they're going to hear you out? And that's the thing. I feel it's funny how there have been things that I have said over the years where it's very fitting for conversations like this, where there are people like Trump supporters where, yes, I think it's safe to say that they are followers. They don't have no leadership skills. And you put them in a situation where they have leadership skills. Well, they not so much the skills, but you put them in a leadership position, they're gonna fail at it, and the reason why I say that is because when you look at people that have to, I guess, they're relying on what another person is saying. And I think a lot of the information that Trump supporters get is from Trump himself. And that's why you don't see where they don't come up with something unique. They don't come up with something different. And that's even something that I've said with my own fair shares of drama. And I'll be talking on that because that was the main thing that I wanted to talk on. But I did want to kind of talk on that a little bit. But no, yeah, it's like you see when they have to wait for him to say something, and then that's when they can turn around and just keep on repeating it. And I'm like, man, and that was like a question I am gonna ask it, I think I might have asked it in that video, but like, do you think them same women that were in that video like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I guess, for those that were old enough back then and stuff, but do you think that they had anything to say about Trump? You think that they supported Trump? Because I feel like a lot of the women of age, like women that are, our parents' age and stuff, 10, 20 years ago, they ain't have nothing to say about Trump. And so that's why I just kind of find it funny, Trump had unlocked something evil within them, and now all of a sudden they a Trump supporter. And that's why I'm like, yeah, them Trump supporters, man, they a different breed. But anyways, no, what I wanted to talk on, and it probably is going to stir up some drama. It probably is going to get some, haters to now start, I guess, like going after me, whether I'm streaming or comment sections of videos, wherever. But I do feel like that, over the years, they had every chance and opportunity to debate me on stuff, and they never did. And that's why I had to say that I feel that my haters, they have been ducking and dodging me ever since they started getting into it with me. And I feel the thing is this, and I feel like it's a lot easier for them to troll and make fun of a person because there's not much conversation there. When you're trying to, I guess, like, I don't know, make a person upset, I think that's what their goal was, but it's like, you guys sucked at that. So it's like, okay, now what? But it's like, we have the opportunity to have a logical conversation. Let's have a logical conversation. But that's the thing. They don't want to have no logical conversation. I remember the last time I had a brief conversation with a hater of mine. Well, I wouldn't necessarily, because I don't think he started hating on me. I think he started hating on me when we had a conversation, but I never seen the guy before, so I don't know too much about him versus the interaction that I had with him on Twitter. But anyways, so I think I remember talking about this night. I can't remember if I had talked about it on my podcast, but I think I did do a video talking about it on YouTube. So, but anyways, this guy, he would Just a Robot. He was getting into it with my friend K Huck. I responded to K Huck, and then that's when one of Just a Robot's fan had responded to something that I said. Me and him, we got to going back and forth at it. Now, I never say anything racist to this guy. I don't think I said anything insulting to this guy. I was just having a conversation with him. He got upset and he called me the N word. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what does that have to do with the conversation? Like, if that's what the conversation is going to be, you guys getting upset and then being racist, I'm like, how? And then that's the thing. Don't try to like defend it and be all like, oh, whoa, dealing with people. Because no, he did say that. He was all like, because he was dealing with somebody like me, it made him racist. Does that make any sense? You're either racist or you're not. There's no such thing as, oh, I dealt with it with somebody and now all of a sudden I'm a racist. I didn't believe that. You know, it was just one of those things where he just wanted to find a reason to be racist because, yeah, it's when it comes down to debating, when it comes down to conversating and all that stuff, they don't have a conversation. They don't have nothing. They don't have no material to debate with. And even when you look at Just a Robot, when he was getting into it with that woman that he was stalking at VidCon, what did he have to do? He had to get his roommate in because, oh, his autism and dyslexia got the kicking in. So he had to, you know, tag team. And it's like, no, the thing is this, what people need to understand about debating, and I feel like I need to explain it for a little bit, is that you need to come to the debate with any and everything that you can that's going to benefit the debate. Like, I guess overall, if you want to look at it where it's like, okay, bring something to the table that's going to benefit your argument, make sure it's something that's good. But your word, or, you know, it's like the majority, you know, people think along these, okay, does that make it right? You know, so like the thing, like, let's just say people are starting, or no, all right, so let's just go with the one rumor that Minnesota boy that he was trying to start up with me, that I was adopted. So if him and his fans, if they were all turning around and saying that I was adopted, I mean, it was like videos that they were uploading, getting millions of views saying that I was adopted. Does that mean that I'm adopted? Because I'm like I said before, I think that would be a strange adoption process for me to look just like my adopted parents. That ain't even on no stuff where it's like, oh, all black people look alike. No, if you guys combine my parents, you get me, okay? So, but no, I'm like, I guess that would be my question to people. It's like, because if the video gets a lot of views, if it gets a lot of attention, does that therefore make whatever it is that he's saying, does it make it true? Because if that's the case, then I'm like, okay, how is it that he doesn't have no evidence against me showcasing that I'm adopted, but I have proof that I'm not adopted? So that's why I'm like, you know, and it shouldn't be one of those things where, I mean, I guess like if I wanted to, yeah, I'll bring it to the table. I mean, if it was a situation where I did need to bring it to the table that I'm not adopted, but if it's a silly comment that's being made about me, why do I need to, I guess, like, you know, treat it like it's a court case or something? I'm like, oh, I got to bring all the evidence to defend. With stuff like that, I can care less about, you know? And so, and that's what a lot of times, like with drama and, you know, just with issues that I've dealt with on, you know, just, yeah, with content creating, I don't look at it as a situation where I'm like, I have to dive deep into whatever it is. Like, I have to bring this evidence to the table and that evidence to the table. I mean, yeah, if there's a reason to talk on something, like for an example, the video that Just a Robot uploaded where he was explaining how to get away with being a pedophile. Videos like that, I'm like, that's one of those things where I'm like, I didn't even have to bring it to the table. He already has it uploaded to his channel. So it wasn't like it was like some leaked video or something. I called him out on that video, and instead of responding to it in a way where he could have, well, he did have it where his fans had commented underneath my video when I was calling them out on it. They were trying to say like, oh, it was just a joke. Like it was you took it out of context. He uploaded the video without any context. As far as my thing is this, if I'm just now starting, you know, like my YouTube journey and stuff, right? Whether it's me just being a watcher or me being a content creator, and that's the first video that I see of this individual, how do you think most people are going to take that video? How do you think somebody with kids that they love near and dear to their heart, how do you think they're going to pretty much like not really accept that video, but do you think somebody would accept that video? You know, that's a video where that's going to get me to subscribe to the person's channel, because if you subscribe to an individual's channel because they gave a step-by-step tutorial on how to get away with being a pedophile, you're the problem. And I'm like, and it's people like you where I'm like, you guys don't deserve an internet platform. You guys don't deserve to be fans. You guys don't deserve anything, any area whatsoever on the internet, but that's one of those things where I know a lot of people, more so the people from that audience, they will argue about it. And it's like, well, okay, well, why? When you look at a lot of the content that comes from your guys' channel, and then you look at the people that he has talked about, and even from, I think it was one of the people that he was stalking at the VidCon event. I think they do art videos. I do a wide variety of videos, from reactions, gaming, music, comedy skits, all that stuff. And then I'm trying to think, and there might be just random people that he'll do a video on, but it's like, there's no reason to go after them. There's no reason. But that's the thing. You want to call it constructive criticism. Why do I need your constructive criticism to survive as a content creator? If my thing is this, because before I had already been on YouTube for some time, like wouldn't say that I was taking it seriously, but I was on, in the YouTube sphere at least for 6 years at the time, when I had very first met him. So I kind of knew the ropes with content creating. I kind of knew how it worked and things. I just think that with content creating, if I can explain that real quick to somebody that's wanting to get into content creating, it really depends on the environment that you put yourself into. If you put yourself in a very competitive environment, then it's really that I feel like that's when it comes down to what content or do you plan on uploading. So with me, it's like I try to upload a lot of different content. I guess not so much to compete, but to keep myself in the ranks, because I feel like, okay, I upload the content, but I'll upload it every once in a while. Like I'm treating content creating like how I was back when I was in high school, and I'm uploading videos just, maybe once a month or once every few months. I don't think I would be at 100,000 subscribers. So that's why I'm like, I don't need your criticism to survive as a content creator. I never asked for his criticism, but he wanted to push off his criticism so much. And it's like, okay, you have the chance and opportunity to explain your criticism. You have the chance and opportunity to explain how you could help me as a content creator, but he never did. It always was insults. It always was, oh, well, it's like, until you bow down to me, then I'm not going to let up off of you and things. And it's funny because he'll turn around and say that wasn't his intentions. It wasn't his intentions to have my channel go through a lot of different hatred. But in a video, I can't remember what video it was, but it was mentioned quite a few different times, where he was talking about some drama that he got outside of our drama, but he was talking about some drama that he got into with another creator, and he was saying how like the drama happened some time ago, but they still are getting hate till this day. Why did you feel the need to mention that? And that's the thing where it's like, I guess like if he wants to bring up like, oh, context, it's like this was the reason why, but it's like, that's what I'm saying. The effect that you have when you upload a negative video on somebody. And I'm not saying that, he's not, if he wants to upload negative videos on people. Okay, my thing is this. Be prepared for how they respond. And that was the thing that always tripped me. I was like, okay, I responded and it wasn't good enough. I'm responding to your video. I'm not looking to see if the video, and that's their problem, is that you want to criticize any and everything that's like, I guess, that you guys see or watch or hear about. And I'm like, no, here's the thing. Everything doesn't require criticism. There's at times when I'm watching movies, I just simply watch the movie to be entertained. I'm like, hey, if I felt the need to criticize or say something about this movie, then I'll do that. But if there ain't no need for it, at the end of the day, if I criticize Jurassic Park, what is that going to do for Steven Spielberg was behind that movie, right? But what is that going to do for Steven Spielberg? And this man, the thing is, how much money did that movie make? Hold on for a second. I don't think it'll probably be like in the billions or anything, but let's see, the very first Jurassic Park. Wow, no, actually, I take that back. It did make $1 billion. Okay, so that's new information to me. I don't know why I thought it was less, but anyways, do you think Steven Spielberg is going to listen to me and the criticism that I have to say about Jurassic Park? Or even if it's James Cameron, because I was just recently playing the video game. But Avatar, do you think he's going to a movie that he's done came out with 3 of those movies so far, and all of them that made over $1 billion? Do you think it's funny because speaking of James Cameron, I feel like that's the best example of like why, at times criticism isn't really needed. So I can't think of that guy's name, but I think he's a popular scientist. But anyways, so he was talking about, I guess, how when at that ending scene of Titanic, when I guess like the stars, it was how the stars had looked or something like that. But anyways, but there was like a lot of, I wouldn't say that they were movie mistakes, but I think that there was things that, okay, if we make it realistic, that whole part of the movie where it was nighttime and then it hit the iceberg and all, we wouldn't be able to see anything, because if people know what it looks like out in the middle of the ocean at night, you're not gonna see nothing. I'm like, we wouldn't see it. Just, for the that whole remainder of the movie would be nothing but audio. So it's like until they cut to when Rose is older and she's telling the story and stuff. But other than that, I'm like, the movie, we wouldn't even be able to see that whole portion of the movie unless they're on the boat and the lights are on. But as soon as them lights would have went out, darkness and stuff. So, but anyways, that's not what the guy was talking about. He was talking about, I guess, like how the stars had looked or something like that. And I think James Cameron said, for a movie that made over $1 billion, and I think that was like when the movie had originally came out, for a movie that made over $1 billion, do you honestly think people are going to, or I think that's how he worded it, where he was all like, do you honestly think I'm going to be paying attention to how some stars are? It's like, I made $1 billion. People like the movie. What else is there to, and it's like, if my thing is this, if you are that much of a nitpicking person to where it's like, oh, I gotta find all the errors and the problems and everything, it's people like you where I'm like, I don't think people are going to be going to you for criticism. I guess like, using my videos as an example. So let's just think, if I'm doing a reaction video to a body cam video, right? So let's just come up with a random video. Drunk person fights off about 10 police officers. It's a whole, like, it's a whole movie pretty much, right? So anyways, people are going to come to my channel if they know that I am notorious for having entertaining reactions. People are going to come to my channel to see what I have to say about that video, right? That doesn't happen to me a lot of different times, with because I can the one YouTuber McJuggernuggets, where a lot of people at one point in time were coming to my channel to see what I had to say about whatever videos. Same with people in the Rainbow Six Siege community, Angry Grandpa, and even some body cam videos. People are curious to see what I have to say. But let's just say there's a popular body cam video that's going viral. I react to it. People are clicking on the video for my reaction. Whatever it is that's the thing where I'm like, how are you going to tell somebody how to react to a video? If that's my natural reaction, to laugh if the cop, catches a roundhouse, or if, I don't know, the guy does like a swanton bomb, like, he's like, let's just say it's a ex-professional wrestler or something. He's doing all these wrestling moves and stuff. If my natural reaction is to laugh or commentate or whatever, it's like, that's the thing about being a content creator, is being unique. So I guess explaining it a little bit, I guess like in a simplified way, I'm not trying to be like other people that do reaction videos. So if there is somebody that you watch that does reaction videos and you're more entertained by their content, then go watch their content. That's not an invalid argument. No, that's you having an interest in that content creator, but trying to force another content creator into being another person. That's not who I am. Maybe that's what you guys are good for, since when you look at the very first video he did about me, it's pretty much a mirror, like it's a mirror image of Grade A Under A's video on Tyrone Magnus, or I Hate Everything, his video on people that do reaction videos, or when Leafy is here, when he did a commentary video on reaction videos. There's no difference. At least with my videos, there's a difference. People, if they want to see Tyrone Magnus, they could go to his channel. If they want to see I'm Dante, they can go to his channel. If they want to see anybody else that's doing reaction videos, they can go to their channels. And all the way, like, that's just that circle of life. They come to my channel, they want to see me and the videos that I'm reacting to. That's what it means to be a content creator. If that was the case, then I'm like, then channels should be shared. But I'm like, that's not how it works. Channels are not going to be shared. Everybody got their own individual channel. Whatever you decide to upload on that channel, that's your choice. If you don't like that content, again, it's not an invalid argument to say, then don't watch it. It's common sense not to watch something that you don't like. If you go to the movie theaters, I guess, yeah, you paid money and stuff, but let's just say that it was a free ticket, and I'm trying to think of a bad movie, Pluto Nash, the Eddie Murphy movie. Now, if you are interested in that movie, that's your choice. Nobody's not going to take that. Nobody can take that away from you. But if you're like, yeah, this movie sucked. Now I'm like, I don't want to finish watching it. There's no plot. Well, no, I never really sat down and watched that movie. That's one of those movies where I'm like, I would like to see what it's about, but I refuse to pay a dollar amount for it. It's stuff like I'll watch it for free or ask a friend. I'm like, hey, real quick, do you have Pluto Nash, that Eddie Murphy movie and stuff? I'm just curious because I don't want to pay money for it and stuff. So, but anyways. But if you are interested in a movie like that, you have that God-given choice to watch that movie. To have somebody in your ear telling you not to watch it because, oh, I don't like the movie for this reason, I don't like the movie for that reason, what does that have to do with me? Like, that's the thing, and that was the one thing that I never understood about just a robot. Well, yeah, just him, because his fans, it's like you're followers. You're following a follower, and that's the thing where I'm like, I feel like that's like kind of like a negative, like a negative and a negative, it's just gonna equal another negative and stuff. But anyways, I never understood that where I'm like, you don't like the reaction video, but you want it to be done in a fashion where you can enjoy it. That's not how content creating is. It's like, because I guess like putting himself in that situation, would you change your content because one person doesn't like your content? And it's like, oh, if I bring my friends to also agree with me, they don't have a concept of thinking for themselves. They have to rely, because let's just say you did that same video, but you were praising my video. That's what your fans would be going with. So that's the thing where I'm like, you need to understand that you don't have fans, like, I guess, backing up your statements. No, they're just yes men. They're like, oh, whatever he agrees on, that's what I'm going to agree with. Whatever he disagrees on, that's what I'm going to disagree with. They don't have no concept of thinking of their own, because if they did, then it's like, okay, he did his take on reaction videos, I'm going to do my own take on reaction videos. And then the thing is this, when they do their own take on reaction videos, they're not using their own script. They're like, hey, let me pretty much like on some school stuff where they're like, hey, let me get your homework real quick. So I'm just going, of course, write my name down differently. But I'm like, so they said, this problem equals this answer. So they're like, the official problem will equal this official. So they're going to add some words. They're going to change some things. They're going to do some things differently. But it's pretty much a copy and paste of something that already exists. What can we learn from that? So, but anyways, with that being said, but yeah, I just feel like that with the knowledge that I have with debating, I feel like that they know that I'm decent when it comes to carrying a conversation. I'm not going to say that I'm the best debater in the world, but also the people that I will be going up against, my haters and stuff, you guys don't even register on the scale of debaters. And so that's why I'm like, I just think that it would be a bad idea for them to debate, but at the same time, I think that's something that they already know. They know that they couldn't, I guess, handle a conversation with me, at least by themselves, because it's either going to end with me going up, and that's the thing where I'm like, if I am going up against multiple people, then so be it. At the end of the day, it's going to be just pretty much the same conversation. So I'm like, okay, all of you guys, y'all are getting the same answer and stuff. So, but yeah, other than that, it's like, or it's going to end off with them insulting me or calling me the N-word and stuff. So depending on what their race is and things. But anyways, with that being said, talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe if you're viewing this on YouTube, and follow and subscribe viewing this on the podcast streaming service, and peace.